Right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us today here at the Landmark Hotel. We are announcing what I believe is the biggest show to take place in the first quarter of 2013 in this country. Royal Britannia, all the Brits, they're all in action at Wembley. Ricky Burns will be in a unification fight against the IBF lightweight champion Miguel VASQUEZ. Nathan Cleverly will be defending his WBO light heavyweight title against his mandatory challenger Robin KRASNIQI, based in Germany, Serbian based in Germany. George Groves will be challenging for the vacant super middleweight championship of Europe against Muhammad Ali NDIAYE, who's from Italy. And Derek Chisora, subject to the British Boxing Board of Control licensing him, which I hope they're going to do, will be in a 10-round fight against an opponent to be named. Liam Walsh will be defending his Commonwealth Super Featherweight title against Canada's Logan McGuinness. And Neil Dawson will be defending his WBO International Cruiserweight title against Tony Conquest. Other than that fight, all these boxers, British boxers, will be fighting fighters from around the world to prove that the Brits are the best. It's for me, it's the way forward. It's like going back to the old days when we used to put all these big fights on one show. And I'm really pleased that we're back in the game to be able to do that. We couldn't do that without the backing, the assistance of Box Nation and the backers of the show, the American broadcast company in the States, Epix, who will be showing the fights there all live. Ricky Burns has been very patient over the last few months. He had obviously things didn't go his way in December. He trained very hard for a fight that didn't happen. Then there was a chance of fighting Broner, but I thought he was okay, fit enough. But the truth of the matter was, to fight somebody like Broner, 7 weeks' notice is not adequate, and therefore we couldn't go for that fight. But he insisted and wanted to fight, the best. And if you look at this week's Boxing News, or the last issue of Boxing News, I think they rate Broner #1, VASQUEZ #2, and Ricky Burns #3. So Ricky Burns comes through this fight, he'll go in at #2, and hopefully set up a big fight in the summer against Broner with adequate preparation. And if he comes through, as I say, with 3 titles on the line, so it doesn't get any better than that. Nathan Cleverly, the WBO ordered that he fights against KRASNIQI. We were trying to make the fight with Bernard Hopkins. I thought he actually did make it, but he has to have his mandatory defence. KRASNIQI's 39-2. Nathan can't afford to slip up. He's got to get out there. He's got to look good, doing what I know he can do, which is deliver the goods. And then we will get him into a really big fight in the next quarter. George Groves had a bit of an up and down 2012 with his injuries and so forth, but finished it on a high note. I thought it was a superb performance, a very mature performance. Hats off to Adam, who got him in great shape, and Booth, who got him in great shape for that fight. And I thought it was a really mature, as I say, performance. And now he's on to the next level. He's going to hopefully add the European title to his resume to go with the Commonwealth and the British, and then from there we're looking to go for a world title sometime this year. He's improving with every fight, and I think he's going to go on to some really big things. And then we're on to Derek. Derek had a little bit of an eventful year last year. It's probably a year ago when he had all these. We had the fracas in Germany. That all got resolved in July, and I think one of the biggest events to take place in this country as far as boxing is concerned. It was a very exciting fight until he got clipped, but now it's back to the drawing board. He's reapplying for his licence, and subject to that he will be involved in an international 10-round fight against an opponent to be named. So for the fight fans, I don't believe it gets any better than this. Title fights, great undercard, we've got some of the best of the young British fighters, and we're expecting a sellout there. And you're getting a chance to watch it prime time, not the early hours in the morning. This is all prime time boxing. So all the guys are here, and I'm sure you've got some questions to ask, so please feel free to do so.
Frank, what's the latest with Derek's reapplication?
He's made an application, that's the latest. It'll obviously go before the British Boxing Control, and they'll decide whether they'll reinstate him or not.
Any idea on time frame?
Oh, that'll happen fairly soon. I've already told them that we're having a press conference today. I've not sort of tried to pressure them in any way. I've said that we want the press conference today to announce the show, and it will be subject to them licensing him. Yeah, it's a year now. It's a year on, and you know, he's been a good lad in a year, and hopefully that's all now behind us. All what happened last year.
Hi Frank, can you tell us about the making of the VASQUEZ fight? Obviously he's a Bob Arum fighter, he was chief support, wasn't he, on the Pacquiao Marquez bill? So it must have been, it's come together very quickly because he's just won a fight. You can tell how it came together after the Broner fight not going ahead and his fight not going ahead, and so VASQUEZ is in.
I think they're both, you know, Ricky and VASQUEZ both wanted a big fight, and this is it. You know, these are the belts on the line. This is where Ricky Burns should be. You know, Ricky Burns is a quality fighter. He's done everything that's asked of him. And if you think of his last performance against Kevin Mitchell, I mean, that was some, you know, the way he went about that fight and the way he won that fight, I think made a real statement. You know, Kevin's no slouch, and you know, he done a magnificent job, and he belongs on that platform. That's where he should be. And you know, I think this is a tougher fight because of styles, actually, than Broner. I know people say I would say that because I'm promoting this fight, but I really do. You know, VASQUEZ has never been stopped. He's got a good chin. If you look at his record, he's only been beaten by 2 fighters. His 2 losses. One was Alvarez, early days, and another 10-rounder, and Tim Bradley when Tim Bradley was at his best. But that was in 2008. So we're now nearly 5 years on. And he's got a winning record. He's a very difficult boxer to beat. He brings a lot of problems, a lot of problems that Ricky's got to find the answer for in his style. And I think it's going to be a really intriguing fight. With Broner, you see what you get. This guy, he's very, very difficult to fight. But, you know, if what I believe in Ricky, and certainly what his trainer and his manager believes, and more importantly what he believes in himself, these are the fights that he should have. So the fight's on, and I'm pleased that we managed to get it together. It's taken us a couple of weeks, but we got there. Any more questions?
George, you're fighting for a title that your old pal James DeCale vacated. Do you see this as a stepping stone to the world title? Do you think you're going to beat him to get a world title shot this year?
It's definitely a stepping stone. Winning the European title is a prestigious title, something that I'd like to do. As a kid, I'd want to, you know, one day win a European title. So the opportunity came up, and I had to take it. This guy I'm fighting, he's a good fighter. He's the fighter that James DeCale vacated for. He didn't want to fight this guy, so I've had a look at him. It's a very suitable fight for me. It's a fight where I'm going to be asked questions, as I always say, but I'll find the answers, and it's definitely a step towards a world title shot. Right now I've got the Commonwealth belt, I've had the British belt, and I'd like to win the European, so having that opportunity makes sense.
Any more questions?
George, how were your hands after beating up on Johnson for 12 rounds? I mean, did you have any problems with them during that fight?
No, they'd seen better days, but they were nothing more than just a bit bruised, a bit swollen. So I'm fit and healthy. If Frank said the fight was next week, I could take it. Hands are good, everything else is good. So I'm going into camp in a good place, which is always nice. You know, I haven't got to worry about trying to lose weight during training. I haven't got to worry about trying to get fit. I'm already fit. I'm just going to work on technique, getting better, get as much sparring in as I can, and yeah, we'll be ready come March.
You won't find a harder man ever than that man, will you?
I don't think so. I don't think so. We'll look for him, and if we find him, we'll let you know. But until that, I very much doubt it.
Well, we won't look for him. Any more questions?
Question for Derek. Derek Chisora, how have you been occupying your time since you've not been fighting?
Helping old ladies across the street.
Nah, I just been hanging out in the gym for a bit with my trainer, and I've been running a lot as well. Been keeping quite busy. You know, hanging out with my dogs and stuff like that. And I was in South Africa for at least about a month, so it's been good.
Frank, would you be looking for an American for Derek, subject to him getting his license?
I would prefer American, if there is an American. There's a couple of guys there, and I think that they would be good for Derek, you know, to get back in the ring. He needs, you know, he said to me he wants to come straight back in and have a big fight, but you know, I want him to actually, you know, have a decent fight, but he needs to get a W on his record now.
And what's his goal now? Once you know he gets over, say, March, what can plan for
if you
him?
look at Derek's record, I think he's only had 19 fights. And in those 19 fights, you look at all the title fights that he's had. I think over half of them are big title fights. He's won the British title, was it back in 8th or 9th fight, right?
No idea.
I'll have a look and tell you. But if you, you know, and you look at fighting for the European title, the world title, and then the David Haye, you know, former world champion, they've been tough fights for a guy with the experience that he's had. So those fights will stand him in great stead, in my opinion. And I just think that he just needs to get. He's got a winning mentality, but I mean, actually, you know, get his hand raised at the end of the fight. Didn't disgrace himself. The shot he got caught with against David Haye was a phenomenal punch, and he got up, and got clipped, and got up. So it wasn't like he was flat out on his back. That's the type of guy he is. He's a fighting man. He's got a fighting man's heart. And you know, you look down at his record. That's not bad. The opponents he's been in with are the best heavyweights in the world. That's what he's been fighting. So a bit more experience. He'll be back in there, and I hope this year he'll challenge him for another, or get another crack at the world title. That's what we'll be looking to do.
There's also, should Derek gets his license back and wins his next fight, possibility of a crack at David Price for the British title?
That again, that could happen. I mean, there's a great permutation of fights in Britain without bringing anybody in from abroad. I mean, if you look at, you know, Derek. I don't know what, I mean, Adam probably knows better than I, but what David Haye's going to do. I know David's looking to fight Klitschko, but you've got him, you've got Tyson Fury, Price. There's you know, it's a great, probably the strongest weapon in the heavyweight division when you look at the world scene for many, many years. So there's a lot of opportunities, and he's well and truly in the mix.
Ricky, how do you feel about leaving Glasgow and sitting to win the week one is actually also on fighting back in the
I think it's just going to be like Kevin, just like fighting back in Glasgow. Last time I boxed down at Wembley was against Michael Kitsidis. I got a great reception, the crowd were excellent, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Ricky, what's your opinions on Broner and VASQUEZ as two potential? Where would you rank them?
Obviously, I think the two of them are the two best in the weight division and out. All the carry on talking about I've been avoiding Adrian Broner.
That's not true.
Everybody knows me, knows that I'm a fighter. I've always said I want to fight the best. Obviously, as Frank said, it was just down to I didn't feel as if 7 weeks was enough time to prepare. For that kind of fight, you want 12 weeks hard preparation, which obviously I've been in training for the last couple of weeks. I'm away in Norway this week for a week training camp. So I'll be ready for March the 16th.
What's the weather like in Norway?
Sorry?
What's the weather like in Norway?
I think it's minus 16, I get told.
And Nathan, with you were obviously having quite options, but he went a different route. What's your feelings on that? And
Yeah, well, we was in talks with Hopkins' camp for a long time. And the deal was done, and we agreed on the figures, and the fight was ready to go ahead, really. But as it turns out, I've got a mandatory challenger, and basically the WBO have come up and said I've got to fight this mandatory challenger or I'm stripped of my world title. So it leaves me in no position, and I've got to fight this guy. And this guy is decent. He's generally not bad at all. You know, I know he's not the name of a Hopkins or a Trevor's Cloud or a Chanel, but this guy can fight. He's 25. He's hungry, and he's dangerous. This is going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to this one because he's not a negative fighter. He comes to fight, so he's going to leave openings, and this is going to be a real good fight. So, but we'll get this guy out the way, and then Hopkins has got Trevor's Cloud for the IBF. So all these fights are gonna happen mid to late 2013. We're working towards it, and we'll eventually get there.
And just before you say why did we vacate the WBO to fight Hopkins? Hopkins was only interested in fighting for a world title, so that was the problem we had. We had to bring the belt to the table, but unfortunately we couldn't get over the mandatory.
Derek, what's your level of interest in mixing in that permutation of fights that Frank spoke about? Are you interested in challenging the British title again, or are you looking to continue to compete at world level?
Hey man, I love fighting, so it don't matter, man. Would I want to fight for the British title again? No, but maybe I might fight for the Commonwealth. You know, it'd be a great fight, me and David Price.
I don't think it's even about the titles. You know, when we stand fighting for the British title, these guys are all a level.
Titles don't pay bills, basically.
Yeah, I think the fights are the fights, whatever they were. It's a bit like Derek against David Hay. There was some intercontinental titles on the line, but it wasn't about that. It was about the event. And those fights don't need a label to them. There's no doubt about that. They're just really good fights. You know, I'd like to see Derek, 100% fit Derek in the ring with Tyson Fury again. You know, it's his own fault what happened last time. No crybaby stuff. You know, he got beat by the better man on the night. But I know that Derek had much more, could have done much more in regards to getting ready for the fight. That may have made a difference. So there's a lot of good fights there for him. Are there any more questions? We're all done? Thanks very much for joining us. Don't forget, these fights are all on Box Nation. So if you subscribe now, not only do you get this great night, the biggest show to take place in the UK this quarter, you also get all the other fights on over in the course of the month, all the fights from Germany, America and other places from around the world. Thanks very much, thank you.